The following recording is an original production by Joshua Sachs and narrated by Joshua Sachs. Any likenesses or names used are purely coincidental. This is a work of fiction and is for entertainment purposes only. The Survivor Chronicles, Part 3. This is my third recording. It's been about 3 days since I've made my last one, and it's been a busy couple of days. I'm currently hiding out in one of the trucks I took. I had to leave the plant. It wasn't safe anymore. They got in. I don't know how, but it was the middle of the night, and there was dozens of them, more than I could handle. They seemed to know I was there somehow. I don't know. It doesn't really matter now. At the time of the last recording, I had closed up shop for the night, or locked myself up, and was crawling into bed, and that's when I first heard them. I could hear them rattling the chain on the fence, and it was terrifying. At first it was just one, but then more and more seemed to get drawn by the noise. And eventually I had a look, and as soon as I turned the light on them, that was a huge mistake. The light aggravated them to no end, seemed to, give them a focus for their ire and hatred, or whatever, their hunger, and they just wouldn't stop. For hours they shook and shook the fence. I felt the rattling as if it was in my own head, and I started preparing to leave, and that's when I heard the groaning, the metal giving way as the press of bodies pushed in and slowly toppled it over. I barely got out of there. I didn't even get to make any supply runs. I just hopped in the truck and left. As I pulled out of the driveway, I turned right out of the lot, and I followed the road down into what would be downtown Springfield, and there was just cars abandoned in the streets. You could see a layer of sooty grime upon them. It was, I almost would say, awe-inspiring, but it was a scene. I'm sorry. It was a scene out of a horror movie. It was terrible. There wasn't anyone there. There was no one who was them. I didn't see a single another survivor. I saw plenty of them, though. They were drawn to the rattle of the big diesel engine as I was slowly made my way through the field of abandoned vehicles. When I couldn't get past them, I pushed my way through them, or had to go around for blocks. I didn't know where I was headed. I still don't know where I'm headed, but I knew that I couldn't stay there. So I drove. I drove around. I just went through rural areas, through commercial areas, warehouses, and I was looking for people. I knew that eventually I would run out of gas in my tank and in the tank of the truck, and I would be tired. I would have to rest, and the only thing keeping me alive at that point was moving. I didn't have any food, no water, and barely any ammunition. And so I made my way further and further in. And I saw dozens of those creatures, those what used to be people, shambling along on horrible wounds. Whenever they would step in front of the truck, I would have to close my eyes as I pushed my way over them like some sick game. But I pushed my way on, and I kept going, eventually getting to a small convenience store. There was two of them inside, just shambling around. One of them, an old guy, standing behind what was once the counter. I watched them for a couple minutes to make sure there was no more in there, and it seems without some kind of draw, these things go into a kind of lax state. They just remain still. You can hear their rasping breath or the, clatter as they bump into small things. It's almost like they're not aware of their surroundings without wanting food. I don't know. The worst thing I think is how quiet it is. You get used to hearing a city. You get used to hearing the rattle of cars and the thump of music from other people. You get used to the sounds other people make, the small sounds, and without that background noise, it's terrifying. Don't mind me. Just have to settle the nerves. I've been awake for two days now, and I'm starting to feel delirious, drawn out, exhausted. I can't think of a time I've ever been this tired. But anyways, as I watch them inside the little convenience store, I decided that I needed supplies. I needed food. I needed water. I needed smokes. And it's a terrible habit, but like I said, if that's what kills me, then that's all right by me. So, made my way inside. All I had with me was what I had been wearing, the wrench, and that officer's pistol. There wasn't any power in there, so I was only going off of moonlight and the reflection from the headlights of the truck. So I made my way in, and I took the old guy down rather easily. It's disgusting to think how easy it's getting now. 3 weeks ago, I couldn't think of myself bashing in anything's head with a wrench, but I barely felt anything when I had to do it. The other one was harder. It was just some kid. Could have been more than 14, 15 years old. One arm had been gnawed away. Thick, congealed blood was just dripping from the wound. It looked soupy. There was this black tinge, like when you drank a little too much and, spewed, ichor, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but it's like in their blood. It's probably what infects us healthy people. It was hard, and God, I'll never forget his face. For a second, right before I swang, He croaked out a sound, and with how tired I was, it almost like he was asking for help. It sounded like he was asking for help, but I hesitated, and he lunged. God, it was close. Took a chunk out of the coat I was wearing. Thick denim is the only thing that ever saved me now. Otherwise, I'd be one of those damn things already, and you wouldn't be hearing me. So I can't hesitate anymore. Not not if I want to survive. Yeah, I gotta do it. Doesn't matter if they're infected. The only thing that can stop them, good blow to the head, or a bullet. So I got supplies, food, water, the essentials, uh, ibuprofen. Needed that. Jet lag was kicking in. I think that's what it was. Whatever it is, when you stay up too long, the only thing that's keeping me up now is an obscene amount of Red Bull and nicotine. But I'm gonna try and find someplace safe to park soon. Right now I'm camped out in the parking lot of the mall. Was deserted before all this happened. They had tried to fight back this virus by having people go into quarantine, which was in itself, now thinking back, should have been the first warning for us, but someone decided not to cue us in. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Tired. So I'm sitting there, a lot of open ground, a lot of spaces to get out. Got the truck off, gotta save fuel. Already burned a half a tank. I don't know if any pumps are working in town, but I've got to get a stockpile up. Several gas stations. If I remember from working those when I was younger, there's usually some kind of auxiliary power on the pumps. So here's hoping I can fuel the tank up and maybe get a little extra in reservoir. So after I did that, I just drove. I drove around looking for people. I didn't see any. Didn't think I would. Anyone smart enough to make it past the first couple of days of this virus going rampant, smart enough to get out of town. I've got 2 bullets left. And after that, it's whatever I can swing, whatever's at hand. I've got to get better weapons. I've got to get better supplies, better protection. I know they're out there. I know there's everything that I'll need. God, I can't stop from yawning. I know everything I need is out there. Everything I could possibly want. I drove through past the shops at the little mall, places that had thousands of dollars worth of jewelry and electronics are just abandoned. The store's open. You can see everything in there. No one wants it. No one needs it now. There's no power. There's no point in looking good. Not for these creatures. So I'll keep doing what I gotta do. I think there's a little sporting shop right here in the mall. I'm gonna go ahead and go through there, get some supplies, camp gear, maybe get out of town. I don't have enough, but I can get a start. So, it's been 5, 6 days since I got to the old production plant. Safe there for 2 nights, and then had to be out here on my own. I can't be on my own. I've got to find someone to take turns protecting us with. I need to find a group. I need to find survivors. There's got to be more of us. I can't be alone. I can't be the only survivor. It's rough, man. It's hard. Not just the physical strain, but I can feel my sanity on the cusp of breaking. They used to say things about people with depression, PTSD, social anxiety. We had a word for everything, a condition for everything, a pill for everything, drug that could help you make you feel better when you were sad. And I used to scoff at the idea of people, why wouldn't you just be happy? Why wouldn't you just be, in a good mood? And now I know. God, it's so obvious now. I wish I had seen it before. Then I could have understood better. Hell, everyone could have understood better. Maybe we could have helped the people instead of just forcing pharmaceuticals down their throat. So, I could feel it. I'm right. I'm cracking, man. I'm breaking. I can't be as strong as I need to be. I have to have other people. I gotta have someone else. There's gotta be someone else. I can't be the only guy out here. There's people out there tougher than me, bigger, stronger, faster, smarter. They've got better supplies. They were more prepared. They kept better aware. They gotta know what's going on. At least that's how it is in the movies, on the TV shows. Group of survivors. They fight their way past the horde of the zombies, the psychos. Hell, there used to be whole video games and movies and everything. Thousands upon thousands of hours of just entertainment. Wish I'd paid more attention to them, but no. Not me. I would never had time for that. It was always just fantasy, playing video games with my friends, going to work. Wish I'd taken a little bit more time to read about that. Maybe then I could have a little bit better skills out here. So, here in a minute, I think I'm gonna go into that convenience store, or that sporting store. I can see the name from here. But I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna get what I need, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna save one of those bullets. I'm not gonna be one of those things, man. I'm not. I can't be. I won't be. I'll never turn into one of those damn things. Mindless husk of the man I used to be. I won't do it, man. I can't. I don't want to die, but what they're doing, it ain't living. It ain't. All they are walking viruses. And I've got the cure right here in my hand. I'm gonna pause the recording. If it don't start back up, well, I didn't make it. But if it does, well, I guess I'll have a little bit more story to tell. Jesus, that was close. What the hell was I thinking going in there? Hundreds of people must have thought of going in there. God, I was stupid. I barely made it out of there. At first, I thought it was safe. There were supplies everywhere. God, more guns than I could have carried. It was shopping spree heaven. I had to run. When I went in, grabbed me a shopping cart, walked straight to the gun counter, loaded up the Glock, grabbed. I just started dumping guns into the cart, boxes of ammo. I don't even know what I really got, but I took everything I could fit in there, man. I've got camping gear now. I've got food. I've got supplies. I got tents. I got everything. I've set it real good, but fuck. Sorry. I've got. I barely made it out there with my life. God. I went in through the front doors, walked my way to the back, started loading up, and it was quiet. It was great. That should have been my first warning. After about 5-10 minutes of me making all sorts of noise, I started hearing a strange rattle. Someone banging against the wall. God, I didn't even think that the place was connected to the mall. After I finished loading up, I put the shopping cart near the front door and went for another trip. I thought maybe I could get myself some better clothes, better shoes, equipment, flashlight, headlamps, things like that. Went by the survival section, got about 50 cases worth of the instant food, MREs, I think they're called. Just add water, cases of water. I was taking that back. Happened to see something out of the corner of my eye, and as I turned, that's when I saw them. God, there was hundreds of them. I don't know what I was thinking, man. Pushed my looked up, and God, they'd pushed their way through the little metal separating security gate between the mall and the sporting goods shop, and they came at me like a wave. I didn't have any weapons ready. Should have loaded up one of them guns. Maybe I would have been able to get more supplies. And I turned and I ran. I ran for everything I was worth. Within steps, I was winded. I knew it. I knew I wasn't going to make it, but I pushed. I pushed as hard as I could, man. And I dumped everything I had in my arms straight in that cart. Pushed my way right out the doors. They were on my heels. Oh, God, it was terrible. I think the only thing that saved me was the fact that they had to slow down to go through the doors. There was a pair of these glass sliding doors that I had cracked open enough to get the carts through, and they hit it with an audible bang. It was like when the ocean slaps against a wall, just a thump you could feel. I knew the doors wouldn't give long. I could hear the glass breaking, arms busting through. They're awful to look at. They're terrible. The wounds, the looks in their eyes. But worse is the cries of hunger. They want to catch me. They want to tear me limb from limb. They want to eat me. What drives them to eat people? God. Why is this happening? So I pushed my shopping cart right up to the truck. And thank heavens I was smart enough to leave it right out front. I didn't even bother not taking it out of the cart. I lifted as hard as I could, dumped it all on the back of the truck, and just got the heck out of there. Thinking now it's a miracle the thing didn't just slide out of it. I think they used straps on the thing at work to keep the stuff on there, but I wasn't sticking around to make it a safe load. Forget that. If I lost everything, so be it, but I wasn't sticking around to try and make it safe. So I got out of there real quick. I drove and drove and drove, my heart racing. Oh, God, it was stupid. I'm about 10 miles from there. I'm right at the edge of town. Sun's going down. I see this little service road ahead of me. It's dirt path up into the woods. Think I'm gonna drive up there, park myself under a tree, rest. I'm so tired. That last act of exertion, it took it out of me, man. I don't know how much more I got left. I'll go through the supplies in the morning. I won't bother you telling what I got. It's not important. I've got food. I've got guns. I've got supplies. Everything a hillbilly needs. Oh, God. When will this be over? I'm lonely. I miss my family. I miss my friends. I miss people. I'd take anyone right now, anyone with me, just so I wouldn't have to be alone. I've been always afraid of the dark, and it's so much worse now. It's so much more terrifying. The dark is where the monsters really are now. Just waiting for you to mess up. But they won't get me. Nope. I'm ready for them. I'm ready. I could do this. She would want me to do this. She would want me to keep surviving. And no, don't talk about her. Don't. So this is going a little longer than the last couple have, but that's good. Means I'm getting better. Maybe someone will make sense out of these damn things, but I don't really care. Like I've told you before, they're for me, not for you. So I remember her. Well, that's it. That's all I got. That was today. Or the last few days. So, this is Joshua Sachs. No. This is the this is the survivor. I'm alone. It's me. But if you're listening to this, just want to think we've got each other at least. Stay safe. Stay alive. And as always, survive.